One of the big issues with broadcast news is that a lot of the anchors can sound robotic. That because they're all reading off teleprompters, a lot of it can just sound the same. And in the case of the video that I'm going to show you, that's literal. So this was put together by Deadspin, and it's just incredible. Watch.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. I don't know how people do this job. I mean, if you love going to work and you like reading off a teleprompter, good. I'm not going to judge you. I just think if you are talking about the news, these issues that actually affect real people, then you should maybe care about the topics and give a shit about what the hell you're saying on screen. But who am I? I'm just a regular guy on YouTube that used to work in broadcast news and knows that all these people are fakes. But it's okay. Let's get to the problem here. So these local news stations are owned by Sinclair Broadcasting. Now, Sinclair Broadcasting has ties to the Trump administration. But that doesn't mean this script is really that bad. Now, the problem here is that all these stations are saying the same thing. But if you actually read the script, and I'll link to that below if you want to read the full script, it's really nothing crazy. So here are some quotes in case you need a refresher. The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. Yeah. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories that just aren't true, without checking facts first. Correct? Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. Yeah, it is. So, again, the actual script here isn't the problem. It's the fact that Sinclair Broadcasting has the power to push out a script and force all their local news stations to actually read it. Now, what's more troubling is this little piece here from that New York Times points out. Sinclair regularly sends video segments to the stations it owns. These are referred to as must-runs, and they can include content like terrorism news updates, commentators speaking in support of President Trump, or speeches from company executives. Now, to me, that is disturbing. The fact that Sinclair Broadcasting can put together pro-Trump propaganda and then force their local news outlets to air it, that's a real problem. Now, what is maybe even more disturbing than that is the actual Sinclair contract that they have with their on-air journalists. So Matt Pierce, an LA Times journalist, got his hands on a Sinclair contract and detailed some of what it says. So, for one, it forbids employees from expressing their personal political views, but not their employers. Also, if there's a lawsuit / arbitration, Sinclair is guaranteed attorney fees if they win, but the employee isn't guaranteed attorney fees if the employee wins. And this Sinclair contract says the TV station can fire this journalist if they become disabled and can't present a pleasant personal appearance and a strong, agreeable voice. So this contract is nuts. Now, the reason I show you this is because I don't want you to get too distracted by the shiny object. Yeah, seeing local news reporters all say the same thing is both disturbing and crazy. But it's not the real issue here. The real issue is that Sinclair Broadcasting can push out whatever propaganda they want onto these local news networks, and that also this contract shouldn't exist as it is. And it wouldn't exist if these journalists were unionized. But that's not a discussion that's going to be happening on mainstream corporate media. Now, speaking of corporate media, MSNBC's Morning Joe talked about this montage of local news clones and what they thought about it. Now, while watching this clip, keep in mind that there is some hypocrisy here, and I'm going to discuss that after the clip.
Mika, you started in local news, and I'm just wondering, what do you do when somebody hands you a script and your general manager says, as some of these did, here's a script, you have to read it. You have no choice. If you don't read it, I get fired. What do you do?
Well, I think that, for some of the people in those boxes that we saw who might be starting out, there may be a pass given, but I don't understand reading that. I don't understand reading that, just acting it out like they did. Those were seasoned journalists.
What about your first...
You are the front line of defense. In terms of telling the truth to your audience. You have to be able to push back. You have to be able to take a look at something and edit it, put it into your words, your voice, and try and bring objectivity to the table. This was a disgrace across the board on the part of the journalists involved who were acting out a script rather than understanding and the perspective of the news and pushing back
I was
when
going to
necessary.
ask, what if you were a first or second year person at Hartford, but chances are good if they're on air, they've been there a while.
Those were a lot of very seasoned journalists and some people starting out. And in many cases, those were the journalists who are the highest paid in the market. I noticed a lot of men who were maybe in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Those are the highest paid journalists in the market by far, especially compared to the women sitting next to them. I can tell you that for sure. And they should know better. All of them should know better. This is a really embarrassing moment for journalism. At this point, we can't afford to be anything less than perfect. We have to try and strive for perfection and fairness every day. And this was a massive failure.
So what's worse? Reading off the same script about fake news that 50 other stations are also reading, or pretending that you yourself also aren't part of the problem? So MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, they all pushed the Iraq war. They all put out Bush administration talking points. Pro-war. Even the newspapers. New York Times, Washington Post. Pro-war. What happened there? How about cannabis legalization? For decades, it's always been about fear-mongering around cannabis. Oh, we can't legalize it. It's too dangerous. Too many problems. Without acknowledging that the only reason it's illegal in the first place is because of propaganda. Now, finally, there are states and countries waking up to that fact. But the science and the data has been there forever. How about budgets? When we talk about healthcare, oh, we can't afford free healthcare. That's too expensive. But when there's an increase in military spending, nobody cares. Nobody talks about it. Money is only an issue when you actually want to help people. When you want to fucking kill people, it's fine. Put as much money as you want into bombs. That's great. Healthcare? No, can't do it. Too expensive. How about Israel-Palestine? The only position that the media has, that mass media has on Israel-Palestine is pro-Israel. They don't even acknowledge that people actually exist in Palestine. So recently, there was a massacre in Gaza where Israeli forces opened fire on Palestinians, killing 18, wounding as many as 1,700. And where was the media on that? Silent. So the issue here isn't just Sinclair Broadcasting. It's media in general. When you have power concentrated at the top, you are only going to have so many opinions reflected in mainstream press. That is the issue, and it's been going on for decades. Hey, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button below and consider throwing me a few bucks on Patreon at patreon.com/therationalnational or therationalnational.com/join.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share, and subscribe.